We're here at the 2024 BCI conference recording in the EpiPOD studio. I'm your host, Jada Monet, and I'm here with
Andrew Brooks from San Diego, California.
Ooh, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's been a great day.
Awesome. So how are you enjoying the conference thus far?
I am loving it. I have really been in awe, not only at the fact that everybody here is gifted, but how everybody here is so humble. I mean, I have not encountered this many gifted and humble people in a while. Most of the times when people get a little bit of success, it goes to their head and they don't speak to people and they get attitudes. But the love here is definitely in the air, and it's been absolutely amazing. So I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So what would you say would probably be your most favorite segment of the conference so far?
Dr. Jackie Green. She picked that room up and flipped it upside down 3 times and walked out like she did nothing. I absolutely loved it. Her transparency and her confidence and her boldness, the way she declared. She shared a little bit of her testimony. She's an actual doctor. She earned her doctorate degree. It's not an honorary thing or anything like that. And she's not living behind the shadow of her husband. I'm a PK, so I've kind of seen it, growing up, where it's easy for the wife to kind of just take the back seat. So to see her kind of just boldly at the forefront is a beautiful thing. I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
What do? I am in full-time ministry. I am a preacher. I've been preaching for about 7 years now, since I was 19.
Wow.
And the Lord has definitely been leading me all kind of different ways. And I recently relocated to Memphis, Tennessee. And shout out to my church, Reformation Memphis, Pastor Brandon Clack.
Oh, come on, Pastor.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Amen.
ma'am.
So as a pastor, I know that we have many different influencers, young influencers who are looking up to people like you on social media. So what advice would you give them starting out as far as preaching the word on social media?
Steward your influence well. You have to be very careful not to fall into the trap of trends. It's easy. There are different challenges, different things that come on social media. But if you call yourself anything as pertains to being an oracle for God, you can't find yourself falling into different traps and trends. Not to say you can't have fun. You can definitely do that, but you have to protect your witness, because you don't want anybody to be able to say that I saw this person involved in this, yet they proclaim to be this person on stage.
Yes.
So you have to make sure that you remain as congruent to the person that you are preaching to when you're not on stage.
So what challenges would you say that you faced being a preacher online?
One of the challenges that I would say I face would be that of making sure that I don't share too much. It is easy to think that social media, that everybody that follows you has your back. Some people are just watching to see when you're going to fall. And so you have to be very careful that you don't give them something to talk about. And if you're going through, find a therapist, find a good friend, talk to your pastor, make sure you can trust your leader, but don't use social media as a diary just to bleed on it when you have nowhere else to turn. Make sure that you find outlets and pockets to be human and divine.
Wow, that is awesome.
You got to.
That is so awesome. Yeah. So, with you having that relationship with God, what would you say would be one of your favorite characteristics about him?
One of my favorite characteristics about God is that he has a sense of humor. Now, that is not always fun in the moment, because oftentimes God will give you an instruction that doesn't make sense at all. I live in Memphis, Tennessee. I am from California. Never in a day did I think I would be living in Memphis, but I think looking back on the instruction, things are starting to unravel, and it's starting to make a little bit more sense. So it's not always fun in the moment, but God is funny. But you have to be bold enough to follow his instruction, even when it's dark.
And trusting him too. One thing my mom told me growing up was God sometimes will take you from point A to B to Z to Y to X, and you're like, God, this does not make sense. Like, what am I doing?
Or he has a way of showing you the end of a thing, but not telling you how you're going to get there.
Exactly.
And you've got to trust that what you heard is exactly what he said.
Yes, that is so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Of course, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on social media at Andrew S. Brooks _ on Instagram, and just Andrew Brooks on Facebook.
Awesome.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I'm your host, Jada Monet. Don't forget to follow us on all platforms at Riverside Epicenter.